If you're catching up with us, my name is Icky Timey. We're doing some tea time with the fantastic and wonderfully gifted Nelson Cade the third, and our set studio has just fallen apart over here on my side. So we're gonna put it back together here in a second, and we're just gonna keep rocking, man. We're gonna keep rocking. Is that cool, Nels?
That works with me.
All right, Taz. All right. Let's just wait a couple seconds. I want to make sure we're good. Somebody is on. So if we're good, somebody give me a thumbs up so I know we're still good to go. And when I get that thumbs up, we're going to rock. All right. Let's do this. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to get some light back on because I want us to keep moving along nicely. But just here on this side of our loved one, leave one, bro, why don't you tell us what's on your playlist right now? What are you listening to? What brings you inspiration? How do you get pumped up? Yeah.
Ooh, so COVID has got me in the songwriting mood. I mean, that and also just contemporary times. There's so much happening right now.
Yeah.
So I've actually been listening to a lot of Hosier.
Really?
Hosier is awesome. Oh my goodness, he's such a poet. And I didn't realize that because like I've always been attracted to his music
Yeah.
and I love what it sounds like and what it feels like, but I'd be lying if I told you that I knew all of his lyrics. And then I listened to Cherry Wine and I was like, I'm gonna cover the song because I like it too much. And then when I was covering it, I'm listening to the words and I'm like, okay, he's really insightful. Like this is like layers and layers of really, really good poetry.
Right.
So I
Right.
started looking at his other songs and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna save his whole album at a time because he's one of those. So I'm listening to a lot of Hosier. I'm listening to a lot of the Muse.
Okay.
I'm kind of all over the place. Like I listen to EDM. I
Nice.
listen to folk stuff. Like I have George Strait on my playlist. Like
George
Troubadour,
Strait.
one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm all over the place, man. I've got got some rap on there, got some J. Cole. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna listen to next.
Oh man, there's always a little bit of something.
I
Always a
think
little bit
my
of
feed
something
paused
to listen to.
again.
No, we're actually pretty solid right
I
now.
may have lost you
I'm still here, bro. You got me. We
just a
still we
little
still see you, and you
bit.
sound good. You look good too.
Oh,
You
I
look a
heard
little
something.
confused, but you look good. So if you missed out on our Love One, Leave One, sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of a problem on our side here.
Sip
But
my
we're going to
tea.
bring Nelson
The tea
Cade
sip be like,
back in, I promise, in the future. We were just talking about how fun it is to just sit around and hang some. So somebody said, Nelson, can you hear me okay? Nelson? I may have lost Nelson, my friends. Oh, Nelson. Nelson Cade. Nelson Cade the third, you hear me? You speak to me right now. Taz,
ooh, I hear something.
Taz, you
There we
talk to
go.
me right now. You stop ignoring me. There you are. What's up, bro? You got
Okay.
me? I can.
Hi, I see you. It was a little grainy at first, but we're
Okay.
good.
Cool, cool, cool. I got you, man. I got you. We're good. So someone asked if we could redo the love one, leave one because they ran out. Even though we're not, I promise we'll get back to it around in the future. I'm gonna have Nelson back on. We're gonna chop it up some more. There's a lot of story to be talked or to be told. So what are you listening to inspire you right now, Nelson? What's something that like you put on to put you in a zone? Like you need this.
So I actually have just straight up, yeah, I want to be inspired to songwrite. Right now, that would be Cherry Wine by Hosier. And there's two other songs on that album Movement. Oh my goodness, I love listening to Movement. And then there is Nina Cried Power. Right
Mm.
now, those three get me in my songwriting mood, and I can just listen to those and zone out. And I'm there. I'm exactly where I need to be.
And what would you have done differently as a young artist now that you're longer in the tooth? You're an old man now, the ripe old age of, I don't know, what are you, in your late 20s? What are you,
I'm
19?
27. I
Oh,
will be
mercy.
28 in like a month and some change.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just old enough to be maybe your father, bro. No! So tell me, what would you have told yourself starting off as a new artist now that you're longer in the tooth? What would you have done differently?
So, first off, right off the bat, knowing what I know now, I would go all the way back to that little 6-year-old boy who asked for piano lessons. And I would
Mm,
tell him, take your lessons. I would tell
mm,
him, all those dues that you think that you need to pay before you can do anything, forget all that. Like, and this goes to everybody. Everybody thinks that you need to achieve some certain standard before you can go and make your career. And I gotta say, that illusion is just not worth the effort. Don't buy into that. If you want to go and you want to be a musician, then be a musician. You started today. How do you want to do that? Um, if you want to play for Carnegie, and I remember this because I had a conversation with my mom, um, and I remember looking at some band playing at this crazy venue. I want to say it was like Wembley. It was like tens of thousands of people in the stands, and it was just
Wow.
so awesome. I'm like, why can't I play that? And she was like, well, are you ready? And I was like, wow, I'm totally not ready. And then I got mad, and I was like, I can get ready. Like, why haven't I gotten ready for that? So that would be like, if I could go back and do it all again, I would have told myself, if you want to do this, then just do it. You don't have to
Mm.
wait until the calls you. You call the places that you want to play at. If they don't want you to play there, that's fine. Be findable. Post your stuff. Sing on the rooftop. Sing on the street corner. Like, whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. Figure
Mm.
out the rest of it as it happens. Because I spent so much of my earlier life doing, achieving all these standards, all the practice. And I'm not trying to diss practice. Practice is
Yeah.
very important. But I spent so much time wishing I could play at these places that I didn't just do things like open mic nights. That came way later. And if I would have started doing the open mic nights and the busking, if I would have started doing that when I was like 10 or 12, I mean, I would have been a name in my community a lot sooner.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I feel like that would go the same for everybody because it all buys. I mean, it's not even a talent thing. Honestly, it's not about talent. It's really not.
It's about the
Talent
hustle.
is something that you could, yeah, talent is something that everybody can forge for themselves. Like, I'm not a singer. I wasn't. that was
Right.
that was not this thing that I grew and honed. Like, it was. I grew and honed music in general. I started with piano, and I didn't like it. I got to that 3 year mark, and then all of a sudden I loved it. I didn't realize how deep I loved it, but I kept on coming back to music. Then guitar entered my life when all of a sudden there were no pianos. I was in a point in my life where there was no pianos at school, there was no pianos in my house, I didn't have access to my instrument, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm losing my mind. So I got a guitar and I didn't know how to play
Ah.
it. But I'm like, if I could just figure out how to play a G chord, I know how to use it and
Mm.
enter that whole new facet. And
Yeah.
I mean, with guitar came singing because I'm telling you, man, that instrument just forces the voice out of you. So that wasn't something that I was taught, and I really don't attribute that to talent. I didn't sound good, and I know that I didn't sound good because people would tell me that I
Right.
didn't sound
They're
good.
like, yo, you don't sound good, man.
And right.
But what are
And
you
it's
trying to
like,
tell me?
sure, that's a lesson in humility and it hurts
Yeah.
and that's okay because once again, nobody told me, hey, play guitar. Nobody told me, hey,
Yeah.
sing. I wanted to do that. And
Mm.
if other people didn't like it at that time, then yeah, sure, you swallow your pride, but at the end of the day, do you want to do it? Yes.
Right.
You
Right.
keep doing it. And eventually other people will like it, but by the time they do, that's not what matters because
Right.
you've enjoyed it the whole time. And as you get better at it, you enjoy it more and more and more. And it just becomes something that other people are privileged to share with you. And I had to learn that. And I'm grateful for having the opportunity to learn it. But if I would have been told that at that age,
Yeah.
I would have packaged things differently.
Mm. So, speaking of which, because you said singing didn't come as your natural gift, but something that you had to develop over time, Run DNC asked if you can sing some Prince. I'm going to save you from that so that the next time we come on, you can sing a little Prince for us. We're not going to forget. You better pick something good, Purple Rain, and we'll let you. We'll let you sing that when you can. However, let me ask for those musicians out there who are just getting started. You gave a phenomenal tip right now about, hey, look, just get started, start hustling, start putting your stuff out there, start hitting the road, start touring. Obviously, you can't quite do right now during the COVID times, but when you can, you can. Can you give us 3 more tips that that someone who is a young adult who's like thinking about, man, I really want to propel in this particular area. I think I've got the gifts for music in this particular art. Can you give us 3 practical tips for those individuals right now that they could put into
Absolutely.
place?
So I teach a couple of, well, I've taught a couple of master classes at, a couple of various schools. Shout out to La Mirada
La
Unified School
Mirada.
District. So Benton Middle School specifically, I got to do something really cool for them. That was really fun. And the La Mirada High. So practical advice. I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told them because I really feel like it was received well. One, if you are thinking about this whole music thing, I know that you can't do open mic nights right now, but as far as gigging goes, that is one of the best ways to make your own opportunities, which is going to lead to my real point. Do not sit and wait for a phone call. Do not sit and wait for opportunities. Even if you're at home practicing, preparing for opportunities, that's great, but that's like a quarter of what you need to do. In order to get that opportunity, you have to go and get that opportunity. Be findable. Make your business cards, have a place where people can go to see what you're doing, see what you're going to do, see what you have done. Like, social media is a bigger tool than people realize. Honestly, it's not really something that an artist can afford to skip. In this day
Right.
and age, it can make your career for you. It's unbelievably powerful. So one of the first things that I would say is definitely be findable. Regardless of
Be
how good you
findable.
think you are, yes, be findable. Make your Insta, make your YouTubes, all of that. One video can go so far. And I'll just tell you this right now. Certain people can do stuff like The Voice because of one video. Like, that's how powerful they get. There's so many things. Never underestimate what content can do for you.
A great
So
example of that
there's
actually
your
is the,
first
the
one.
Pentatonics. They were phenomenal about being findable on YouTube. They were able to make
Yes.
that the pivot. And a few weeks ago, when I had the great privilege of talking with Kevin Olasola, he was sharing about how that was one of the tipping points for them that really opened up doors to be able to get like presence and get known was their
Hmm.
wonderful gift of being YouTube available, accessible. So
And
number
then
one
a
is
second,
get
number
known.
one, be findable.
Be
Yes.
findable. Be findable.
Number one is be findable. Number two, if you're into songwriting, I struggle from this, and I'm trying to take this on advice right now. If you want to be a writer, then write. And I had an author give me this advice. It wasn't even a songwriter; it was an author, and the way that he presented it, it hit me so hard. I was like, okay, I can't argue with that. You're not going to sit down and just write a Blackbird. You're not going to just sit down and write, Tears in Heaven. You're not going to just make this amazing timeless song. And you know what? Even if you do, awesome. But it doesn't come from just nothing. You sit down and you write something. Maybe it means something. Maybe it's nonsense, but you write it and you keep doing that. um, you know what? I'm gonna say this because I love them. 21 Pilots. They have a song called Kitchen Sink, and I don't even think it's something you can get on Spotify. I think it's like a YouTube thing. But they have a verse. The first verse is so ridiculous. Um, it says, "Write something, yeah, might be worthless. Paint something, yeah, might be wordless. But you'll see purpose start to surface." And
Wow.
it's such a good way to put it in. There's so much more to like, but if you sit down in the beginning of your day, let's say you wake up at like, if you're like me, you wake up like at 10, but let's say you wake up at like 7 and do what you need to do to get, your mind right, listen to your songs if you need to, but sit down and write. Just like a stream of consciousness. It doesn't even have to be anything like, it's not an essay. Just put your pen to the paper and write. Don't stop writing. Even if you have to literally write, I don't know what I'm thinking about. This seems so weird, whatever. Just write for 10 minutes. Just do that. And then as you get good at that, and then another important thing is stop at 10 minutes. Because what it's supposed to do, I'm reading this really, really, really cool book that's helping me with songwriting. And actually, hold up. Let me give some
Just
props
so
to
happen
it.
to have it.
This is Pat Pattinson's book. He is one of the professors at Berkeley. He taught John Mayer, and
Wow.
several other really cool people. He's been doing this for a while. He's got all the merits he needs to have. He knows what he's talking about. And I just want to say, at the end of the day, this book and books like this, they're not meant to be gospel. Take what you can from this book, learn from it, and I wouldn't say unlearn everything. It's just those are skills that are now in your repertoire. Those are weapons that are now in your arsenal. Use them as you see fit, but don't rely on them.
Nice.
So, um, one of the things is, write a song daily, which is the same advice that I got from the author. Like, an author's not going to just write A Tale of Two Cities if he's not writing random stuff
Right.
every day. You don't sit down and write a book. You have to write your short stories, write your characters, write your ideas, write your thoughts, write your rants. Like, all of this stuff needs to be saved. And then when you want to do stuff, like, I enjoy wordplay, and that's one of the reasons why it's taken me so long, is because I'm a perfectionist on this kind of stuff. Like, when I write a verse, I want every line to mean 7 things at the same time
Right.
because I love thinking like that. It's just so fun. So when you want to do stuff like that, yeah, you start playing with different exercises. Have line up 5 verbs and 5 adjectives, and then make metaphors out of mixes and matches of them. Mixing and matchings of them, and then vice versa. Switch them, and then do the same thing. Like, there's all kinds of ways that you can just force yourself into that songwriting rhythm.
Yeah.
But don't sit down and think that you're just going to write a song.
Masterpiece. Right.
You have to get there. And then you can spend all this time editing to make them perfect. So my second one was just do it. Just start writing. If you're a songwriter, just write. You don't even have to have a full song. Just start with your 10 minutes a day. And trust me, like 1 week, 2 weeks of you doing that, if you don't skip a day, if you do 10 minutes every day, you will get good at it very quickly.
Ooh.
And you'll be like, wow, I'm writing coherent sentences. Wow, I'm using alliteration. Wow, I'm using mnemonic devices. Wow, like it happens fast. So that's my second one. Just start.
Nice. So just start. That's number 2.
Yes, just start, be findable. And last one, I want to talk about practice, because regardless of if you're an instrumentalist or vocalist or anything in between, practice is important. And I remember time and time again being taught, practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect. And then I got into college and you learn a little deeper. And I remember one of my professors was like, look, if you sit down and you practice the same thing incorrectly for 3 hours, you're going to get really good at playing it wrong. Practice does not make perfect, it makes permanent. And then I just saw all of my childhood. I was like, that makes so much sense. Like, when you're going to practice, there's a correct way to practice. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one who can speak about this, but I'll go ahead and give you like a mini version of the spiel. Let's say you're doing a passage and there's always this one note that you always just stumble on. So you play it like 20 times. On the 20th time, you get it right. And so then you move on to the next part of the passage. That's wrong. Don't do that. Because you've just practiced it wrong 19 times. That's muscle memory. Your body's going to remember how you did it 19 times, not the 20th time.
Right.
Once you hit that thing perfect on the 20th time, start your count. Play it again correctly. And 20 is usually the magic number. When you do something 20 times, I mean, at that point, you're not going to be thinking about the mechanics of what you're actually doing, which allows you to do the stuff like, how do you want it to feel? You get to use your brain for the stuff that's going to make that music more emotional and human, which is what elevates you to different echelons of this art form. So when you practice, get past the mistakes and practice the correctedness of it, and it will take you into a whole other level of musicianship, like instantly. It is
because we're used to just practicing till we get it right 1 or 2 times, and we're like, okay, I got it, let's move on. But in actuality, you didn't get it. You got it more wrong than you did right.
Right, like,
that's good.
I mean, think about that in any other context, and it's the same thing. Like, you play sports, you don't stop running drills once you finally caught the ball. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to practice catching it, not, all right, finally I got it, let's go to the next thing.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Good, man. That's good. Those are 3 really great tips for any musician out there who might be thinking about taking off. These are the 3 things that you're going to take your game to the next level, my friends. So keep that in mind. I want to, we're a little bit over time, bro, but because we had the hiccup in the middle, I think we should just explore a couple more questions. Number 1, how do you feel like And we're definitely gonna have you come back and fill us in some more on life. Is that all right, Nels?
Sweet.
Okay, cool.
Dude, I love this, man. I'm
All
totally
right.
down.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Yeah, I'd love to have you, man. Um, so I just want to know, how has your faith been intricate to your journey and to music, and how is that playing out still in your life? Are there any spiritual hacks that you're doing to help you keep balanced on the road here?
Okay. Yes. First of all, I love your questions, by the way. I think I need to say that. Like, your questions are great. I love how open-ended they are. It's fun to talk to you. So, yes, my faith has been very helpful. Matter of fact, I will say this, especially about music as an industry. There are going to be things that happen as you get further and further into it where you're going to realize that this is bigger than you. And when there are things that are demanded of you that are bigger than you,
Mm,
it helps to be surrounded by people who, the good crowd, people that will keep you sane, people that will keep you on the straight and narrow. And if you don't have that, I hope you have God, because
yeah.
that will keep you right if you do. And he has kept me right. And I'll say this.
Awesome.
My faith has helped me with all kinds of things. I'm trying to think of like an actual example that I can give you, but oh, okay. Here's a cool one, a faith hack, if you
All
will.
right.
Like, I have like little mini prayers throughout my day.
Nice.
Anytime I just get a huge blessing, or even if it's something that hurts just a little too much, and I'm just like, oh, that was too much vulnerability for one day. It's one of those
Right.
things where I feel like you have to kind of set formality aside and realize that as God as a creator and us as his creations, imagine how cool it is to be the creator and one of your creations looks up and he's like, today was a rough one, man. Like, it
Right.
hurt, and like, I know you're looking out for me and I appreciate it and everything, but it's just like, oh man, like, today was rough. It's like, even in something like that, just a conversation, like if you're
Yeah.
having it with a friend, it makes me feel better. It helps me decompress what just happened, and then I do it for the good things too. Like, I just survived a very busy gigging week, and I had like 6 gigs in 3 days. It was pretty rough, and I remember at the end of it all, my voice was a little strained, and I'm getting towards the healing process now. But I remember I was just getting in my car and I was about to pull off, and I look up at God and I'm like, fist bump, because it's just like, I'm so grateful for this. Like, thank you
Yeah.
for making me feel like everything's a little, it's not pre-COVID life, but it's like, it was nice to have done this. I'm grateful that I
Yeah.
got to go
Absolutely.
outside today. I'm grateful that I got to sing today. I got a cool compliment today. I played a song that I didn't think somebody was going to recognize, and I saw them perk up. And like all of those little things, I'm like, I'm grateful to you for that. There's things that I look back at, and like I said, as you get deeper and deeper into this industry, you're going to look back on things and you're going to be like, wow, that was only God.
Hmm.
Like, I look at some of the timings in some of the things that have happened, like the show. I learned after, the whole blind audition, all those hurdles that we have to get into.
Yep.
I learned that after the fact, the magical number of how many people auditioned was in the 40,000s. And
Wow.
it's just like, I'm sorry, like, I'm at a point where, I'm comfortable saying, yes, I've demonstrated this, much musicianship, and I can say that I'm this good. But
Yeah.
to say that I can beat 40,000 people, I'm not that proud. Like, that's God.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's God saying that, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and give you this, or I feel like you've earned this, or you know what, this is all worked out. Let's try this. And I don't have to understand how it all works, but I will be grateful, and I'll let him
Hmm.
know that. And I feel like it's a mutual thing, and it makes both of us feel better,
Ooh.
if I can be so bold to even say that. So
Be so,
my
bro.
faith,
Be so. Yes.
right. So yeah, my faith hack in a nutshell is, just talk with him. It doesn't have to be formal. It really
Yeah.
doesn't. It's so much more personable, I think, when it's informal. Like, doing fist bumps with God, low key, it's one of my favorite parts of my day. It's fun.
Has it helped to have that kind of spiritual uh, consistency, especially during these times, not just with COVID, but the civil unrest that we're dealing with right now? Has it affected you emotionally, professionally?
Yes, when you have that spiritual, I'm going to say foundation
Yeah.
in your life, it bleeds into everything else in your life. There are, it's just it when you have that real heart about, I mean, anything, when you have your real heart about it, it's going to be present in your decision making. It's going to be present in how you carry yourself. Like, um, how do I put this? Because it in all things, balance is key. But like with God in my life, there are certain things that I just don't feel an affinity for.
Mm.
And I'm not ashamed of that or anything. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever say bad things about people that do that. Like, to
Yeah.
each their own.
Yeah.
But like I feel like because I have God in my life specifically for that reason, it's not something that I struggle with,
Mm.
you know?
Nice.
So definitely as a professional, because everybody hears the crazy rumors of the music industry and all the bad
Yeah.
things that it has, and like I'm not gonna lie to you, like there are situations where you might be presented with something that you don't want to be associated with, and it can be scary, if you're not seeing that coming. So with God in your life, it's easy to make yourself the square if you want to, but it's easy to like dismiss it or be like, what, I'm cool, I'll chill over there, or it
Nice.
it doesn't become as awkward as you might think it is. It's just a I know that I'm good. I'm good
Yeah.
already. That kind of a thing.
Too good,
So
man. Too good.
yeah.
Too good. Thank you, bro. Hey, and thank you for your time, Nelson. I really appreciated our hour together. If you are just jumping on right now, we're just closing out our time with Nelson Cade, who spent this last season on The Voice as one of the contestants. He was on Team Legend, and he is a musician, an artist, a human being, and a lover of Jesus. So we've been really impressed by our time together. Now we'll definitely have to have some more time together, bro. All love to you and Steph and you guys' plans on your future together. We'll keep you all in prayers. For those of you who are still on with us, we next week we're going to be hanging out with Dr. Terry Swenson and Senior Chaplain Dillis Brooks, Pastor Dillis Brooks, and we're going to talk about what it is to work and minister in spaces that are multicultural, multi-faith, with young adults, and dealing with a lot of these social and civil issues that we're dealing with today. So don't miss out on that, and keep an eye out for future opportunities where Nelson and us are going to get back together. We're going to do that love one, leave one, and everyone will be able to catch on a better chance with that and have some more fun together. Thanks again, Nelson, man. Really appreciate you. Everybody else, God bless you guys. Just before we head out, I'd like for Nelson, give us a word of encouragement for our young adults out there, man. What could you say that's just like, hey, look, inspire us, man?
Word of encouragement. I say this all the time. You're never too young to start. You're never too old to start. If you want to do it, just do it. The biggest obstacle you're ever going to have in your life is yourself. And if you get that out of the way, nothing can stop you from anything.
Ooh, that's a word, bro. Nothing can stop you, my friends. So go for it. God is on your side. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on Tuesday Tea Time. I enjoyed breaking tea with you, bro.
Likewise. Cheers.
Ah, my man, my man, my man. All right, my peoples. We'll see you next week. God bless.
Peace.